Dartington College is a very small specialist higher education institution, one of the smallest in the UK. We've only got around 600 students. Our specialism is in the performance arts.
Canterbury Christchurch is a relatively small university. We have 5 campuses around Kent. We're primarily a teaching and health studies organisation. We've actually doubled in size in the last 5 years, which of course has meant that the infrastructure behind the scenes needs to support that sustained growth.
Bangor University is in northwest Wales. The university has about 2,000 staff. The reason we chose Agresso was that the complete integration of HR, payroll and finance, the Agresso product itself suited our needs because it was very flexible, it's also scalable, and it was very dynamic to organisational change as well.
When I arrived at the college in 2004, we had a very antiquated system that had been in the college for many years. There was a huge raft of paper-based processes around human resources which stretched the college to the limit. As a small college, we don't actually have any exemptions from the kind of requirements that any university has on it for governance. So actually there was no case for having a small system because we wouldn't be able to meet our requirements under that. So we had to look to a bigger solution. But in that we had to say which solution can we afford the investment for but actually make significant longer term savings, because we clearly needed a system that would run itself in a sense with minimal maintenance and human intervention. It wouldn't need a large IT department to keep it going or to run upgrades frequently, that in a sense you could take a low maintenance approach, and that's exactly what we've done, and it served us very well and been absolutely reliable.
It's a very, very configurable piece of software. If you want something out of the box, then Agresso probably won't be for you. But if you want to tailor something to your organisational needs and something that you know can evolve with your organisation, then definitely consider Agresso HR Payroll. The system basically was tailored by ourselves in conjunction with Agresso consultants. They worked with us, and the key focus was the knowledge transfer. So we're not constantly relying on going back to Agresso.
The benefit of having an integrated finance, HR and payroll system is the simple fact that it's integrated. It would all talk to each other without any extra need for manual intervention at all. Other systems throughout the university can all interface too. There is just one golden source of information. Agresso is that. If we want to find something, either be it financial, payroll or HR, it's in the system, so we just need to extract the information that we want in the format that we want it.
We've basically got rid of all of our Access databases, spreadsheets. They're all gone now. All the data sits in Agresso, so our reporting will become a lot simpler across that data.
The unique selling point to me of Agresso is that you can make of it as much or as little as you want. Many small organisations, they actually need information as quickly and as accurately as large ones.
It closely integrates the HR and payroll functions, not only on a systems level, but I think in department terms. We work a lot more closely with each other because our system is closer together as well. We can see what payroll are doing and they can see what we're doing.
One of the difficulties in many organisations is getting an HR department and a payroll department, if they're separate, to understand the importance of finance codes, what they mean, what cost centres are. But by integration, the whole thing comes together, and therefore it starts to become more seamless, and HR payroll staff understand the codes more and actually see the process from end to end, from starting with a timesheet going right the way through to actually a GL posting and making sure that the analysis is correct and gives the budget holders, who at the end of the day are the kind of internal clients, the correct information. We wanted to reduce the overhead of storage space. We wanted to reduce the paper flows. So instantly when we went to web-based solutions, things are done electronically, so actually the whole operation can be run by a relatively small team of people. You actually have the savings not only in human resources but also in storage. After probably a period of a year, we simply stopped sending out paper reports altogether. Initially we did that as a comfort factor, people didn't really need them, but now people are using the web instead of waiting for the monthly report.
The multilingual capability of Agresso was very useful for us. being based in Wales, you have the ability to add in translations into the system. So we will be using a bilingual version of self-service to roll out to our staff.
We've had a recent implementation of two of our subsidiary companies onto our Agresso system. Agresso can handle the change very well. We've been able to make a number of significant changes to our subsidiary companies that have been running on Agresso for some time now, and re-import the data from those using potentially a new coding structure, or using the Agresso in-house tools to do so.
We've completely re-engineered our pay and grading structures, and we used Agresso to implement that fully for all staff, and we also produced documentation straight from Agresso. So it was key, it was a key facet to that particular project.
I've always been a little bit of a sceptic when people tell me that IT systems can save money and save staffing time and so on, because in my previous roles I've never really seen it happen. It seems to generate its own complexity and work of its own. But over the past 3 years, we genuinely, I think, have probably run on 25% less staffing requirement than we would have otherwise needed. And that's a fairly conservative estimate. It may even be more than that.
The feedback's been excellent, and there's a little bit of a learning curve with Agresso because it is so functionally rich. You have to learn new ways of doing things. But once you've got through that particular learning curve, then the usability's been excellent, and we've had very few problems with users.
You probably don't get much more challenging sometimes than performance artists whose life and passion is in the world of art and not in business processes. And I have to say that our academics have been hugely adaptable, have taken to Agresso, so that we have choreography lecturers using Agresso through Mac clients. So it doesn't get much more remote from a normal business desktop process than that, really. But people are using the system in that way and are very comfortable with it.
With Agresso, they have a very rich and active user group community, and the main benefit for going to these events is that you get to network with people who are obviously using the same software and may have the same issues, get to share ideas, but also you get to influence the direction of the product as well.
The Agresso user group's an excellent forum for simple question asking, knowledge sharing and networking opportunities. You can ask the user group and you'll normally have an email response from 5 or 6 people within a half hour or so. It's an excellent tool.
The benefits of belonging to the user group are that you belong to a community of organisations who share similar interests and I think share similar challenges as well about the future. Certainly in higher education, I believe there's over 60 institutions now who are involved in Agresso in one way or another. Some years ago there was a government-led initiative called the MAC Initiative, which was an aim of putting higher education institutions into families so they could use the same software. That initiative, because it was government-led, totally failed, but actually Agresso have achieved what that government initiative failed to do, and it's come through institutions making the choice, not through a directive or a kind of common initiative, and I think that's an interesting lesson.
Agresso as a supplier have been very good. The communication channels are excellent. You can usually contact the person directly that you need to speak to fairly quickly, and if not, you can go through the support site. There's regular contact with the account manager. In general, the communication in Agresso is excellent, so I can't really fault it.
What was hugely helpful about the way Agresso supported us was, in a sense, they listened to us and our requirements. So it was very much a dialogue about setting up the consultancy that we needed. Agresso initially looked at the skills we had in-house and how those could be capitalised on, and so we as the customer always felt in control of the contract in terms of calling down the right amount of consultancy in the right areas. I believe that Agresso is a very powerful tool within higher education. I mean, it's one of the dominant packages. And I think it's because it offers huge flexibility around reporting that gives people instant information. It also can automate a large number of the business processes, and having such a large user base, you actually have a very secure future in terms of the product development and how the philosophy develops for the future.